One of these young men is known in London as the King of Carnaby Streets. What is your name, please?
My name is John Stephen.
My name is John Stephen.
My name is John Stephen.
Only one of these young men is the real John Stephen. The other two are imposters, and we'll try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Orson Bean, and Kitty Carlisle on To Tell the Truth. This portion of To Tell the Truth is brought to you by Sherwin-Williams House Paint. The standard of quality throughout the world, Sherwin-Williams House Paint, for years of beauty and protection. Here's your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Good evening, Tom. Lovely people all. In front of you, you'll find an envelope. Open it up and follow along with me on this first story. I, John Stephen, am a designer of men's clothes in London. I emphasize the mod look so popular with England's young people today. I have designed outfits for just about every well-known rock and roll artist, including the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, the Dave Clark Five, and Herman's Hermits. I also count among my customers such international personalities as the Duke of Bedford, Peter Sellers, and Princess Margaret's husband, Lord Snowdon. I opened my first shop on an investment of only £300 and now own 24 stores in Britain. Recently, my clothes became available for the first time in this country. My creations feature snugly fitted shirts in bright floral or polka dot designs, vinyl vests, tight trousers with low belt lines, jackets with nipped-in waists, epaulettes, and deep side vents. In men's fashion circles, I am known as the King of Carnaby Street, or the Million-Pound Mod. Signed, John Stephen. Finally, these three gentlemen all claim to be, as you heard, John Stephen. We'll start the questioning with Tom Poston. Tom?
Bud, as well as I don't know him, I know one of these gentlemen well enough to know that he's not the King of Carnaby Street and not the mod fashion fellow. So I'm going to disqualify myself.
Okay, Tom. Peggy Cass.
Thank you. Number 3, in what section of London is Carnaby Street?
Now, Carnaby is in the Soho section.
Thank you. Number 1, what famous boutique is in Kensington Church Street?
I don't know one Kensington Church Street.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Number 2, name a ladies' shop that's on Carnaby Street. No? 2?
John Stephen, Village Store.
Thank you. Number 3, where are your clothes sold here?
Here in New York, at Stearns.
Thank you. Number 1, where's Tuffin and Fole's shop in London?
It's just off Carnaby Street.
Thank you. Number 2, what's that special thing about a hacking jacket?
What?
A hacking jacket.
It's a riding jacket.
Thank you. Number 3, what's the name of the Duke of Bedford's house?
The Duke of Bedford's house?
Yes,
I don't know.
Castle. Oh, well, okay, number 1. Boy, I thought a lot of nothing about men's clothes.
Orson Bean.
It's called Irving, number 3, the Duke of Bedford's house. It's number 2, sir. I like your suit, first of all. There is a designer whose last name is Quant. What is the first name of Miss Quant?
Miss Mary Quant.
Billy Quant?
Mary Quant.
Millie Quant.
Mary Quant.
Who?
Mary Quant.
Mary Quant. Oh, all right. Gee, I should have earphones on. But number 1, Herman of Herman's Hermits won an award for being well-dressed. Who gave him the award?
I don't know who gave him the award.
Well, do you know what organization?
I gave him the clothes.
You gave him the clothes. You have an enormous class. Number 3. Now, suppose a fella is wearing a vinyl vest and tight trousers with a low belt line. Does this look good on a fellow with skinny arms and a pot belly?
I'd not suggest it.
You don't suggest it for that fella?
I'd not suggest it, no.
No. All right.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 1, what kind of material is your very pretty bright red vest made of?
It's a vinyl.
Vinyl. Number 3, do you know of a ladies' mod designer called Lisa Lott?
Lisa Lott. I know a lot of them, but not Lisa Lott.
Number 2, what is the name of the Duke of Bedford's castle?
Castle. Woburn Abbey.
Thank you. Number 3, do you believe that this kind of clothes has a sort of cowboy influence or feeling because of the low slung belt line?
I'd say perhaps yes.
Thank you. Number 1, are you a tailor?
No, I'm not.
Number 2, what is a pinking shears?
A pair of shears with serrated edges.
Thank you. Number 3, are you a tailor?
No, I'm not.
How did you get the money to start your investment, if that's not too impertinent?
I worked for a men's shop, and I also worked in a coffee bar at night.
Thank you.
That's it. Time for you to mark your ballots. So mark them at once, if you will, of course, without consultation and without change once you have marked. Merely vote now, if you will, for number 1, number 2, or number 3. And our team of challengers will receive $250 for every incorrect vote. Ballots all marked, panel?
Yeah.
Tom, yours goes as a disqualification, therefore as an incorrect vote, regardless. That's an interesting symbol up there. Peggy, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 2. Well, because he knew what a pinking shears was and about Woburn Abbey, and I loved the way he said Mary. You said as though you must be Scotch, number 2.
Orson.
Well, if number 1 did indeed design Herman of Herman's Hermits clothes, he would know that Herman of Herman's Hermits was given an award by the Association of Menswear or something in England. I voted for number 2 because I was torn between number 2 and number 3, and I like number 2's suit, and I think it's number 2. And if you want additional information, send me a self-addressed stamped envelope in a plain wrapper.
Kitty Carlisle.
Well, I thought number 2 gave very good answers, but I voted for number 3. When number 3 said that he worked for a men's store and in a coffee bar at night, I had the feeling that he really did.
Very well, there we have it. With the votes all in and the minds made up, as you heard, and reasons given for it all, let's find out now which one of these 3 gentlemen in truth is John Stephen. Will the real John Stephen please stand up? Thank you, sir. Thank you, and continued good luck to you.
Thank you.
Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Brian Clark. I'm a barber at Eddie's Hairstylist on Madison Avenue.
And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Leslie Sanford. I'm a choreographer dancer now appearing at Carl Hopples in Long Island. And,
Now, wait. Before anything else, what happened to your accent, your Scottish accent?
well, I don't have one, as a matter of fact. I was born in Brooklyn.
Now, this is the one that you know, Tom. Is that it?
Sure, yes, a wonderful dancer.
Uh-huh.
Very fine choreographer.
Well, it also worked to your advantage because we checked the score, gentlemen, to find that there were one incorrect vote and 1 disqualification, which counts as an incorrect vote. And therefore, that's twice $250 for a total of $500. You take it along with you. And our sincere thanks for being with us tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Good night, and God bless you. Now let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Halla Linker.
My name is Halla Linker.
My name is Halla Linker.
Follow along again with this one, if you will, please, panel. I, Halla Linker, have visited 115 different countries, probably more than any other woman in the world. Although I had never ventured out of my native land until I married my husband, we have since then logged a total of 500,000 miles of international travel. In many of the lands we visited, I have indulged my hobby of collecting the national costume. Our family travels so much that my son David, although he is an American citizen, has never spent a birthday in the United States. As a matter of fact, David has celebrated his 14 birthdays in 16 different countries. Signed, Halla Linker. Panel, these three ladies all claim to be Halla Linker. Let's start the cross-examination with Peggy Cass. Peggy?
Thank you. Number one, what was your native land?
Iceland.
Iceland. And number one, what is the costume that you have on?
I have the Icelandic national costume on.
Oh, gee, it looks so cool. I thought they'd have big warm clothes up there in Iceland. And number two, what is the native costume that you have on?
Malayan.
What? Malayan. And number three, why do you do so much traveling?
Because my husband makes films and I travel with him.
And what is the costume that you have on?
It's from Morocco.
Oh, and would they wear that pink scarf too in Morocco?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Number one, say in a country like France, are there different native costumes in different parts of France? I mean,
Yes.
for instance, if you're from the Pyrenees, would you dress differently than if you came from Bayonne or something?
Yes, they do have different costumes in the different provinces.
Orson Bean.
Number 3, where are you from? You're not from Morocco, are you?
No, I'm not.
But you just like to wear that costume?
I bought it.
Yeah, where are you from, number 3?
I'm from Djibouti.
Where?
Djibouti.
Djibouti. Oh, I know it well. I was talking to her. Did you take the number 5 bus? Number 1, what country is it where a woman is supposed never to take a bath? And she always stays home. And nobody minds.
And wonders why.
Wonders why, yeah. Where? Do you know about that?
No, I'm sorry. I've never heard of that.
Oh, all right. Number 2, who is the Nawab of Bhopal?
The what?
The Nawab of Bhopal.
I'm sorry. I have never heard of that.
Number 3, you've never heard of Fatso Marco, have you? You've never been to Bayonne. Number 1.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 2, where are you from?
From Germany.
Number 3, what is a jalaba?
A jalaba is what I'm wearing.
Thank you. Number 2, what is a yashmak?
That's what she's wearing.
Thank you. Number 1.
Yashmak and Abednego.
Number 1, what is a kaftan?
A kaftan? That's what you wear under the jalaba.
Thank you. Number 3, what is a domino?
A domino is like a kimono.
Thank you. Number 2, what do you call those skirts that the Greek soldiers wear?
No. I
Do you
don't
know
remember.
number 1?
I can't recall.
Number 3, why do you travel? Number 1, why do you travel so much?
My husband makes travel adventure films, and we present it on our television program.
Tom Poston.
Number 3, how old were you when you left Djibouti?
About 2 years old.
Unless I'm dreadfully mistaken, it says that you never ventured out of your native land until you married.
They get
I
married
have
young
some
in
strange
Djibouti.
customs in Djibouti, but why is that, number 3? You got married at the age of 2?
No, we were sort of promised on that land, you know, like in certain countries, Arab countries, native countries.
Fascinating. Number 1, why did you pronounce your name Halla? It's spelled here Halla. Is that pronounced Halla?
That's correct. In the Icelandic language, a double L is pronounced as if it were a DL.
Ah, a dear custom, too. Number 2, do you have food
That's
problems?
it. Time for you now to mark your ballots. So mark them, if you will, panel, without any consultation betwixt and between, and without any changing once you've marked. Just vote now, swiftly, for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Ballots all marked. Very well, Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 2. I couldn't figure out that about leaving Djibouti, being promised at the age. Anyway, I thought it was number 3 until then, and I think number 1 gave the inside-out version of what is worn over and under the outer garment that number 3 has on. So I voted for number 2.
Peggy Cass.
Well, I always wear my kaftan under my jalaba. I don't know anything about any of these costumes, but I voted for number 2 because...
That's what I like. Good, sound reasoning. Orson.
Well, I love the way number 3, I mean, that's the most ridiculous story I ever heard of, number 3. But I love the way you weaseled out of it, unless it's true. And then I love the way that you've been able to make a marriage work that you were married to the guy when you were 2. However, I voted for number 1 on the grounds of her, she has a katkan under her jabooty. You can only see it in certain light.
All self-respecting ones wear it that way. Kitty!
Well, I voted for number 1. I like the way she pronounced her name, and I think they all knew everything about kaftans, except I don't know about the kaftan. I think it's a kind of jalaba that is worn on the outside, but I'm not sure.
Very well, the votes are in, and the minds are made up. And now let's see which of these ladies, in truth, is Halla Linker. And I think it would be a good idea to ask young David Linker to come up, if you will, and pick out his mother. David? David, a couple of things I'd like to ask you. It says in the story that you spend your 14 birthdays in 16 different countries. How did that happen?
Well, many of my birthdays were spent in more than one country, and one was spent in no country at all. We were in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
I see. And where do you think you'll be spending your next birthday?
We haven't decided. It'll be either in Andorra or Tunisia.
And beyond that?
We don't have any idea.
You don't have any plans on that. Well, you might be interested, Pamela, knowing that the Linkers appear together on a weekly syndicated television show. And Halla, I understand you've just written a book
Yes.
about all your adventures. What's it called?
It's called 3 Tickets to Timbuktu.
3 Tickets to Timbuktu.
Right.
Well, good luck with it.
Thank you.
David, thank you very much for helping us tonight. It was a joy meeting you. Now, let's find out about the other 2 ladies. Number 2, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Giselle Becker, and I'm an expert on French antiques.
And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Marie-Georges Mills, and I'm a medical technician.
Well, we checked the score to find it came out well for you, just as in the first round tonight. There were 2 incorrect votes. That's twice $250. Total, therefore, $500 for you to divide. And we thank you very much for bringing all your beauty to this show. Good night, and God bless you. Now let's meet our 3rd team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Glenn Armstrong.
My name is Glenn Armstrong.
My name is Glenn Armstrong.
Follow along again with your copies of this one, if you will, panel. I, Glenn Armstrong, am part of a team which has recently won an intercollegiate championship. Unfortunately, very few people are aware of it. Despite the fact that the game we play is 2,500 years old and is the most ancient stick and ball game in existence, it is played as an intercollegiate sport at only 6 American universities. The game, as you may have guessed from the outfits, is polo. Our team is self-financed and has its own string of 20 polo ponies. I am captain of the 1966 Intercollegiate Championship polo team. Signed, Glenn Armstrong. Very well, panel. These 3 young men all claim to be Glenn Armstrong. We'll start with Orson Bean. Orson?
Thank you. But number 2, one of the most exciting things I ever saw in my life was polo matches played indoors. Where is that, number 2?
Where are polo matches played indoors?
Yeah.
Usually in arenas.
Well, I mean, name one.
Name one?
Yeah, name one, number 2.
Well,
Like,
in my school we play outdoors, but they have one. Cornell plays indoors, for example.
Number 3, is there any in New York?
You mean any just indoor fields?
Indoor polo.
Not in the city, no.
All right. Number 1, out in Long Island, there's an outdoor polo ring. Where is that?
Bethpage? I don't know what the location is.
Bethpage. Polo and Bethpage?
Yes.
Where did the people come from that play, number 1?
I don't know.
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 1, how long is a chucker?
7.5 minutes.
And number 2, how many are there in each game?
Indoor or outdoor? Indoor, there's 4.
Outdoor?
6.
Number 3, who is George Sherman?
He's president of the United States Polo Association.
Thank you. Number 1, where do you go to school?
Cornell University.
Number 2, how much do the polo ponies cost each?
Oh, it can run anywhere from $300 to $12,000.
Thank you. Number 3, on the international polo teams, are the players generally mounted themselves, or do they borrow ponies, or are they financed by other people?
They usually mounted themselves.
Really? Number 1, do you mount yourself?
No, ma'am.
The thing is financed by the whole school?
It's not financed by the university.
Tom Poston.
Thank you. Number 2, do you know of any indoor arenas in New York?
Yes. Cornell, for example, as I stated before, has one.
I didn't mean New York State. I meant New York City.
Well, they had one. It was torn down, I think, last year. Squadron A, the old armory.
Thank you. Number 1, do you know who Laddie Sanford is?
No, sir.
You know number 2?
Laddie Sanford? No, I don't.
Laddie Sanford? Is that so? Number 3, where on the mallet do you actually hit the ball? Where's the ball struck with that mallet?
The side of the mallet.
On the side of the mallet.
Yes.
Number 2, what is a ball called? Is there another name for the ball?
Nope, just a ball.
And number 1, what is it made of?
Indoor ball or outdoor ball?
All right. The outdoor one.
The outdoor ball is a willow root ball.
Thank you.
Willow root ball.
Oh, romantic.
Peggy Cass.
Number 2, where was polo invented?
Well, it's been played for about 2,000 years.
I know. But where?
Persia and Japan. It's been played in both places. I don't think they've pinned it down. I don't know.
Thank
Let's put
you.
it that way.
Number 3, does Harvard have a polo team?
No, they don't.
They don't?
No.
They used to, poor things. Number 1, does the name Tommy Hitchcock mean anything to you?
Yes, ma'am.
What does it mean?
It's probably the most famous name in polo.
Now, number 2, how many goals are you? Are you a 2-goal
Handicap?
man, a 10-goal
I'm
man?
a 0 handicap.
You're a 0 handicap. What about you 3?
No, I'm a 1.
You're a 1?
Right, 1 go.
Number 1, how many
That's
goals?
it. Time for you to mark your own goals now, if you will. Mark your ballots. Vote now, please, panel, in the time you have left. Vote without changing and vote without consulting with each other. Just vote for number 1,
Too hard.
number 2, or number 3. All ballots marked. Very well, Tom. For whom did you vote this time?
Well, I'll vote for number 1 just on the chance that the Squadron A armory wasn't torn down that long ago. Otherwise, I found it extremely difficult to choose.
Peggy.
I thought that was torn down last year. They used to play polo there, but number 2 knew about Tommy Hitchcock. And you know something? That game, I think, did start in Persia with the Parsis and then came to India, so I voted for 2.
Orson.
Now, polo was originally played by midgets on cocker spaniels. Terrible sight. A few tips and golf balls they used. It wasn't too interesting. Well, I don't... Gee, I think the old armory is still there, number 2, but I voted for you anyway, and I don't have the remotest... I don't know why. I should have voted for number 1. Unless number 2 was right, because I haven't been by the old armory lately.
Kitty Carlisle.
Maybe it went away. I don't know.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
I thought they were all mobbed. George Sherman is the president of Polo, and maybe they tore the armory down while my back was turned. But number 1 knew about Tommy Hitchcock, and I think they should have known Laddie Sanford. I really do, Tom.
Yes, a real ace.
Tommy Hitchcock?
Did more
Yeah.
for polo than anybody else.
Well, there you have it.
Prince Philip?
The votes are all in, the minds are made up, and Orson is bored. And now let's find out, in truth, which one of these 3 young men is Glenn Armstrong. Will the real Glenn Armstrong please stand up? Number 2, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Storm Road. I'm a 2nd lieutenant in the United States Air Force.
And number 3, what is your real name and what do you do, sir?
My name is Larry Payne. I'm a musical comedy singer.
Taking the score, we come up with the same score as we had in each round tonight. There were 2 correct and 2 incorrect. And twice the 2 incorrect is twice $250 total, therefore, again, $500. Thank you, gentlemen. Hope you had as good a time as you gave to us. Good night, and God bless you. And that's all we have. have time for tonight. Good night to you, panel.
Good night, Bud.
And, of course, good night to all of you. Don't forget to join us at the same time next week, and I'll see you tomorrow afternoon in the daytime show. But in the meantime, don't forget to tell the truth. Good night.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Trotman production. This program was pre-recorded.
Reel yourself in on some fresh entertainment this Saturday night when a new hour of variety acts with an international flavor makes its debut. Watch Continental Showcase with host Jim Backus, beginning this Saturday.